Man, I'll tell you some stuff that no nobody talk about because don't nobody really know. Uh, well, a few people know. This is back when Bob was first getting started. Like they've been in the game for a little bit, but they really started to blow after the TLC and they had the Easy cover. After Easy, Tupac, and Biggie passed, the vibe really started to blossom and like grow. They had the most creative album covers probably ever, but they expanded into other things too fast. Because Quincy Jones, this is his baby, vibe. So he wanted to start off with, television, that's Quincy thing, his production. So they had expanded just too fast, too quick. It was just coming out in like 93. When they start making these like television shows, they had Chris Spencer do the host, and he didn't come off good. Now Chris Spencer is good, but he's good in like sketch comedy, but he just couldn't handle being a host. Plus, he didn't have a lot of pull in the industry, and when you don't have a lot of like industry pull, it's not gonna really go well. And he's real cool and real tight with Keenan Ivory Wayans and the Wayans brothers. So when Keenan came in and took the job, that was like, wow, you just came in and took my job. Sinbad didn't really want to commit to doing it full time, and he emptied out the guest list, and everything was good. They wanted him to do the show full time. He was like, I enjoy this. I'm guest hosting right now, and they wanted to sign him full time to be the host. Then he had an episode where he brought, they were like, well, the ratings is low, and they kind of like blaming, Sinbad, but he did a lot to increase the ratings. And then he brought in Shaka Khan, I think John Latham, and Prince. Actually did a sit down interview where Prince actually spoke. So when he did that, he sat down and actually spoke about everything on the show. This opened up a whole Pandora's box. People weren't used to seeing that. And it was the words Prince was talking about that was like, whoa, the industry is like, wait a minute. They talking about too much deep stuff about the Bible and slaves and masters, and it was just a show that rubbed them the wrong way, and that was it. They took Sinbad off. They was like, this show's supposed to be fun. That was not fun. We got sponsors. So Sinbad was removed immediately. Then came, Keenan Ivory Wayans to bring some levity to it. I think he already had a show going on. So Vibe was going through a lot at that time. And people probably don't remember the Vibe parties weren't that great back early on. I swear. It was one party we went to, the Vibe. It was in LA, 97, in Cali. This was like one of the first, I think it was the first like real big vibe party they had, and they was setting up, and what's his name got into it. They didn't order enough stuff, so they started fighting people that's doing the catering crew and setting up stuff. It was a big, like falling out because some of the food wasn't prepared right. It was cold and wasn't really cooked. So it was people arguing, complaining about that. It was so much stuff going on at the time that so and then the time that what was that, 1998, Master P and No Limit, they had been getting threats from like people that's associated with Death Row about coming to this Vibe Awards thing that they had going on. So this Vibe party, I don't even know if it was an award show, but I know it was a party. And our friend was working there at the time. They worked for Vibe. So they used to do They had Rob Kenner at the time, and then they had like celebrity gossip column, the Confidentials, and then their job is to really go to these parties and try to pick up on conversations and get stuff out of the dirt out of them. So they'll be in there like, cool, we get in there with the blend in with the other media partners, and we're gonna rub shoulders with them, and oh man, it's gonna be great. So anyway, doing that philosophy and following that structure that they had, you know, everything would go good. But there was a big problem at this time. They was like, No Limit is coming with more people. Vibe didn't want them to bring so many people because they weren't gonna be able to facilitate that. And they was like, look, this is a small event. We really want Master P and about 6 other people. And P was like, look, if I ain't bringing my whole family, ain't nobody going nowhere. So at the time, Master P was the biggest thing on earth. So if you wanted Master P there, you got to get Master P. And they were mad LL Cool J didn't show to the other event. And Quincy was a little mad at him because, LL had in the house. So LL had to make a late appearance when he was like, I can't do it because he was getting ready to film some movie. And he's like, you know what? I'll fly in for this one day just for Russell. I mean, for Quincy Jones. He will do it. So he didn't want to run it and wanted to be any problems with him and, Kadada. That was the main reason he didn't want to show up. But L showed up and he brought his wife. And there was some, static with some eyes rolling with Kadada in that situation. It was, still a lot of tension in the air between them two. Uh, but anyway, Master P showed up with like 45 people at the show. They were mad deep. And it was like the people that's working there is like, oh my God, we do not have chairs for everybody. And they just think we don't have any chairs. Like people just gonna have to stand because we told him we don't have enough. So people in there and they in there deep, like deep. Like he brought New Orleans in the house. So Pete was like, we all good, we all good, we all right. And people was like, don't worry about it, we ain't got no chairs, we good. So everybody was just leaning up against the wall in like the hallway when Pete come out and did his thing. So Pete had a seat out there and they was just like extra security. They just had them there like they was working so that the other people there feel safe. Then there was a incident because the tables that they had at the one event, I don't know if this was in 2000, whatever one that Lil Kim was at, and they kept doing the, I wonder what people say. It is going on. When she had that going on. So Lil Kim was getting ready to come out with her album, it was already out. This was before the Vibe incident. This was a small little thing. But back then they had these rinky dink tables. Like they didn't have steady tables. It was like they just set these tables up for the events. So if you put too much weight on the table on one side, it would like tip over, lean, and come up a little bit. So when they putting all this stuff on the table, that's when it was Mariah Carey and Little Kim. So who else was there? Gosh, I want to say Mary J. Blige, but I don't think they were all sitting at the same table. But the one with Lil Kim was on, that's when she left early because somebody had bumped the table. They's like, no, that wasn't on purpose, and that was an accident. Somebody bumped the table and it linked over, and the glass fell, and it spilled on her, so she had to leave. And she was supposed to go on stage and present an award. She wasn't going out because the thing leaned and spilled all over her. She was embarrassed. They had to go in the back, talk her to go out and do her performances and things like. People don't even know all these little incidents and garbage happening at these award shows and these little party functions. It ain't even worth going to to be To be honest, you put yourself at such a risk. At such a risk. And it's like all this little knick-knack stuff going on in the back. People mad because such and such got a, a, a contract with Fubu, and they were supposed to do a deal with Rockaware or something like that, or it was like Dada or something. It was some crazy contract with some clothing company, and then they went behind their back and did a deal with Fubu, and it's like, oh, you doing a deal with Fubu now? And Fubu was like, that was like Quincy Jones, them little project, working with them. So LL was like they main, sponsor. He was the Fubu man. He basically sold all their merchandise. And when they was like, it's for us, by us, brothers ate that up and started buying the gear up. And such artist went over there to Fubu, and he was supposed to go to Rockaware or whatever, and it caused some friction. And a lot of stuff transpired at these shows. So that's just a little food for thought for you guys who like these little nitbits. And what's going next, I'll tell you about Tupac and Heavy D. We'll do that probably next. All right, it's your boy Karceno. I'm out. Enjoy your day.